Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight, I invite you into a house where silence speaks louder than words, a house where love was once warm, but now lingers like a fading scent on an empty pillow. In this quiet suburban home, beneath the hum of daily routines and the echo of rain tapping against the windows, something begins to stir. Something fragile, forbidden, and dangerously human. What happens when loneliness grows too heavy to bear? When comfort turns into longing and affection crosses the thin, invisible line? This is the story of Liam and Chloe, a young man and his sister-in-law, trapped beneath the same roof, both haunted by absence and slowly drawn toward a connection neither of them intended, but neither could stop. Before the end, hearts will break, bonds will be shattered, and a family will never be the same again. Stay with me, because this is not just a story of desire, it's a story of emptiness, choices, and the moment everything falls apart. Fade to black. In a peaceful suburban neighborhood, just outside the bustling city, Liam and his sister-in-law, Chloe, shared a small, cozy house. Their parents, tragically, had passed away years ago, leaving the two of them to navigate life together. The house, nestled among others, might have been modest, but it was filled with warmth, holding countless memories and a deep sense of connection between Liam and his older brother. Ryan, Chloe, Ryan's wife of 3 years, was a woman of striking beauty and gentle demeanor. Their marriage was happy, yet Ryan's demanding career often took him away. His frequent business trips, stretching weeks into months, gradually carved a silent chasm between him and Chloe, leaving her and Liam alone in the quiet, sometimes empty, house. Liam, a lanky, soft-spoken college freshman with a studious face, was the epitome of a quiet, reserved young man. He immersed himself in his books, finding solace and purpose in his studies. Beyond academics, Liam had few interests and rarely socialized outside of school. He was an introvert by nature, preferring the solitude of his room to the clamor of the outside world. Because of this, Chloe became almost his sole confidant. Their conversations were never lengthy, but whenever the opportunity arose, they'd share simple, everyday stories. Chloe, with her kind and thoughtful nature, had long been an ideal figure in Liam's eyes. Every day, she cared for him with a maternal tenderness, cooking his meals, keeping the house tidy, and ensuring everything was in its place. Liam had never felt a lack of anything with Chloe by his side. However, deep within Chloe, a different kind of emptiness was quietly taking root. Ryan's continuous absence, the profound loneliness that descended with each passing night, and a backlog of suppressed emotions gradually pushed her to the brink of a profound longing. And Liam, her quiet, gentle brother-in-law, slowly became the unwitting focus of her burgeoning need for comfort. One morning, just like any other, Chloe woke early to prepare breakfast for Liam. She moved quietly toward his bedroom door, tapping softly. "Liam, honey, time to wake up. Breakfast is ready," her soft voice gently cutting through the quiet of the early morning. Liam slowly opened his eyes. Sunlight filtered through the curtains, bathing his small room in a warm, inviting glow. He sat up, still groggy, gently pushing back his covers before swinging his legs out of bed. When he walked into the kitchen, Chloe already had breakfast laid out. "You're up early," Liam mumbled, his voice thick with sleep. As he settled into his chair at the table, Chloe turned, her gaze tender. "Not too early. Do you have classes this morning?" she asked, her voice gentle yet filled with genuine concern. "Yeah, 2 hours this morning, then a test this afternoon," Liam replied, feeling the familiar comfort that her presence always brought. Even in the smallest moments, Chloe smiled, placing a warm plate of scrambled eggs and toast in front of him. The meal was simple but nourishing, neatly arranged. "Eat plenty, okay? Don't go hungry," she urged, a daily ritual of care. Liam nodded, already digging in, while quickly flipping through his notes for his afternoon test. Chloe stood nearby, watching him, her eyes reflecting a mix of concern and quiet pride. After breakfast, Chloe cleared the table while Liam got ready for school. Before he left, she sat beside him, asking softly, "Do you need anything from me today? Anything you want to talk about?" Liam offered a small smile, shaking his head. "No, I'm good, Auntie. Just need to study hard and do well on my test. Thanks for always looking out for me." Chloe nodded, a soft smile on her face. "You'll do great. I know you will." The afternoon arrived, and with Liam gone, the small house grew silent. Chloe spent her time on household chores, occasionally settling down with a book to pass the quiet hours. These solitary moments only amplified her husband's absence. Though she was accustomed to managing everything on her own, Chloe couldn't escape the pervasive loneliness. When Liam returned home, the house would light up again, filled with the warmth of the evening meal Chloe prepared for both of them. One quiet evening, after dinner, Chloe and Liam settled on the sofa to watch TV, choosing a light-hearted comedy as they often did. As the movie played, Liam sat engrossed, but Chloe's gaze subtly drifted toward him. She could feel the comfortable intimacy between them whenever they sat together like this. She wasn't sure when it started, but Chloe had begun to notice Liam more than just as a brother-in-law. She sighed softly, chiding herself for the thoughts that flitted through her mind. When the movie ended, Chloe and Liam tidied up before heading to bed. Liam walked to his room, but the image of Chloe, the woman who was always there, gently caring for him, looking out for his every need, lingered in his mind. Everything about her, her smile, her voice, her graceful movements, seemed etched into his memory. In the days that followed, Liam and Chloe continued their routine, a seemingly normal life, yet new emotions quietly stirred within both of them. Chloe, after her solitary afternoons in the quiet house, found herself increasingly craving warmth, the kind of connection and attention she once had from her husband. Ryan had been away for too long, and the distance between them seemed to grow with each passing day. One rainy afternoon, as Liam returned home from classes, he found Chloe sitting by the window, gazing outside, her eyes tinged with sadness. The unusual silence in the house caught his attention. He walked over to her, gently placing a hand on her shoulder. "Auntie Chloe, is something wrong?" Chloe started, turning to him, her eyes glistening with unshed tears. She sighed, her voice thick with emotion. "I just feel so lonely. "Liam, Ryan's always gone. I don't know when he'll be back. I'm a woman. I need to be loved. To have someone here with me." Her words were a raw cry of pain, releasing months of suppressed solitude. Liam stood there, stunned, unsure what to say. He only felt an indescribable ache seeing his sister-in-law in such distress. Chloe's words resonated deep within Liam, stirring a wave of unexpected tenderness. Almost instinctively, he gently wrapped his arms around her, a comforting embrace. "I'm always here for you, Auntie. Please don't be sad." Chloe looked up at him, her eyes filled with gratitude, but also something else, something unfamiliar. Liam felt her breath warm against his neck, and he began to realize that the relationship between them had subtly shifted, moving beyond the simple bounds of family familiarity. In the days that followed, everything seemed to change. Chloe's gestures became more affectionate, more intimate, from light touches when passing things to sitting closer while they watched movies. These brief moments created a powerful connection that was slowly taking root. Liam, initially awkward and shy about Chloe's changed demeanor, gradually couldn't deny the strange, new feelings burgeoning within him. His thoughts about Chloe were no longer just of a sister-in-law. She was now a captivating, alluring woman. One evening, as Liam was studying in his room, Chloe unexpectedly walked in, carrying a warm mug of milk. She wore a thin, soft dress, her smooth, pale skin subtly visible in the dim, golden lamplight. Liam's heart churned, his eyes darted away, yet he couldn't stop thinking about her. "Are you tired from studying? Drink this milk, it'll help," she said softly, her voice gentle and caring. Liam took the mug, thanking her, but his mind raced, unable to settle. The surging emotions, intensifying day by day, kept him restless every night, making sleep impossible. That night, Liam couldn't take it anymore. He sat up, staring out the window, taking deep breaths, trying to calm himself. But the images of Chloe flooded his mind, her gentle eyes, her sweet smile, her intimate gestures. He knew their relationship shouldn't cross the line, yet he couldn't control his feelings. Liam decided to start a journal, hoping to vent his tumultuous emotions, recording his confusing thoughts about Chloe, his burgeoning desire, and the pervasive sense of guilt. But the more he wrote, the more he realized he couldn't keep pretending everything was normal. He knew their relationship had irrevocably changed, and only time would tell if they could control it. In the days after Liam started his journal, the emotions swirling inside him became even more intense, more overwhelming. Every morning he woke, the image of Chloe, her gentle gestures, still occupied his mind. He found himself drawn into a maelstrom of longing, yet simultaneously consumed by the wrongness of their burgeoning connection. He couldn't stop thinking about his sister-in-law, but he was terrified to cross another line, fearing he'd shatter the fragile boundary between them. On another evening, a soft drizzle outside made the small house feel unusually quiet. The sound of rain tapping against the windows only amplified the sense of solitude for both of them. Liam sat in his room, the dim lamplight illuminating his textbooks, but his mind couldn't focus. He knew Chloe was just outside, and her image had haunted him all day. Finally, unable to bear the turmoil any longer, Liam decided to step out, hoping to find a moment of peace with Chloe. He walked into the living room, where Chloe sat on the sofa, her gaze distant as she watched the raindrops fall outside the window. The air in the house felt heavy, almost suffocating. Liam sighed softly, walking over and sitting down beside her. He didn't know what to say, so he simply sat in silence, looking at Chloe. Unexpectedly, she turned to him, her eyes red-rimmed as if she'd been crying all afternoon. Her voice was a soft whisper, laced with deep pain. "Liam, I don't know if I can keep living like this. I'm so lonely. Ryan's just always gone, and I don't know when he'll ever be back. I'm a woman. I need to be loved. I need someone by my side." Chloe's words were a heartbreaking exhale, releasing months of pent-up solitude. Liam was speechless, his heart aching with an indescribable pain as he watched her suffer. Chloe's words stirred a profound tenderness in Liam. Without thinking, he gently put his arm around her, a quiet gesture of comfort. "I'm always here for you, Auntie. Don't be sad anymore." Chloe looked at Liam, her eyes brimming with gratitude. And something else, something new and complex. Liam felt her warm breath against his neck, and he began to realize that their relationship had already surpassed the limits of ordinary familiarity. Her proximity, her vulnerability, stirred something deep within him. In the days that followed, everything seemed to shift. Chloe's actions became more affectionate, more subtle, from light brushes of hands when passing objects, to sitting closer while watching movies. These moments, though brief, ignited a powerful connection that was rapidly forming between them. Liam, initially flustered and awkward by Chloe's changed demeanor, gradually couldn't deny the new, strange emotions growing inside him. His thoughts of Chloe were no longer just of a sister-in-law. She was now a captivating, enchanting woman. One evening, as Liam was studying in his room, Chloe unexpectedly entered, carrying a warm mug of milk. She wore a thin dress, her smooth, pale skin subtly visible beneath the soft, yellow lamplight. Liam's heart pounded. His eyes darted away, yet he couldn't stop thinking about her. "Are you tired from studying? Drink this milk, it'll make you feel better," she said, her voice soft and caring. Liam took the mug, thanking her, but his heart wouldn't stop racing. The bursting emotions, surging day after day, kept him restless every night, making sleep impossible. That night, Liam couldn't bear it anymore. He sat up, staring out the window, taking deep breaths, trying to calm himself. But images of Chloe flooded his mind, her gentle eyes, her sweet smile, her intimate gestures. Liam knew their relationship shouldn't go too far, but he couldn't control his emotions. He decided to write in his journal to release his feelings, recording every turbulent emotion, his thoughts of Chloe, the longing, and the guilt he was experiencing. But the more he wrote, the more Liam realized he couldn't keep pretending everything was fine. He knew his relationship with Chloe had completely changed, and only time would tell if they could control it. In the days following Liam's journal entry, his emotions became even more suppressed and tense. Each morning, when he woke, Chloe's image and her gentle gestures still completely occupied his mind. He began to feel himself pulled into a storm of longing, yet at the same time, He was consumed by the wrongness of their connection. Liam couldn't stop thinking about his sister-in-law, but he didn't dare take another step, fearing he would shatter the fragile boundary between them. On another evening, a soft drizzle made the atmosphere in the small house strangely quiet. The sound of rain falling against the window seemed to increase the solitude within both of them. Liam sat in his room, the dim lamplight shining on his desk, but his mind couldn't focus on his books. He knew Chloe was just outside, and his sister-in-law's image had been lingering in his head all day. Finally, unable to bear the turmoil any longer, Liam decided to go out, hoping to find a little peace from his sister-in-law. Liam walked into the living room, where Chloe sat on the sofa, her gaze distant as she stared out the window. Watching each raindrop fall, the air in the house felt heavier than ever. Liam sighed softly, walking over and sitting down next to his sister-in-law. He didn't know what to say, so he just sat silently, looking at Chloe. Chloe unexpectedly turned, her eyes red-rimmed as if she had been crying all afternoon. Her voice was a soft whisper, gentle but full of pain. "Liam, I don't know if I can keep living like this anymore. I'm so lonely. Ryan just keeps leaving, and I don't know what to do to face these long nights alone." Liam froze, feeling his heart tighten. He could feel the pain Chloe was going through, but he also sensed a fragility and weakness in her voice. Liam didn't know what to say to comfort his sister-in-law. He just gently moved closer, putting his arm around Chloe's shoulder, a subconscious act of comfort. Feeling Liam's closeness, Chloe couldn't hold back her tears any longer. She broke down, resting her head on his shoulder. "I'm so tired, Liam. I just wish someone was here with me, to love me and care for me," she whispered through her tears. Liam felt the warmth of Chloe's body, her subtle scent making his heart pound faster than ever. He knew he couldn't hold back anymore. Liam hugged Chloe tighter, his hands trembling slightly as they touched her soft skin. Chloe's breathing seemed to quicken, and Liam could feel the rhythm of her heart through their bodies. Chloe slowly lifted her head, her eyes shimmering in the dim light. They looked at each other for a moment, and then, as if pulled by an intense force, Liam couldn't stop himself. He leaned down, his lips gently touching Chloe's. At first, it was just a fleeting touch, but then, both of them lost control. The kiss grew deeper, more passionate. Chloe responded to Liam's kiss, her arms wrapping around his neck, pulling him closer. Guilt and fear seemed to vanish in that moment. All Liam and Chloe felt now was the burning desire rising within them. They no longer cared about anything else, only their hurried breaths and yearning touches remained. Chloe pulled her lips from Liam's, her eyes still blazing but filled with hesitation. "Liam, we shouldn't be doing this," she seemed to convey. But Liam knew Chloe's unspoken refusal no longer held power. He gently shook his head, his voice hoarse, a mix of desire and determination. "Auntie Chloe, I can't stop anymore." Chloe remained silent, her lips trembling, but she didn't resist. She had tried to fight her feelings all this time, but now, in front of Liam, the person she had grown closer and more intimate with than even her husband, she no longer had the strength to resist. Chloe said nothing more. She just nodded slightly, her eyes full of vulnerability and longing. Liam embraced Chloe, pulling her closer to him, their bodies pressing together, no space left between them. Their kiss became more fervent and intoxicating than ever. Liam could feel Chloe's softness and warmth beneath his fingers, each touch making his heart race. The entire room was filled with heated breaths and intense emotions. The rain outside was now just background noise to this passionate reunion. Liam's fingers moved across Chloe's body, each gentle touch holding so much burning desire. He felt her slutter movements beneath his fingertips, her body soft as silk, and he couldn't stop the surging desire. Chloe leaned back against Liam's chest, her eyes shimmering, both shy and inviting. Liam felt her hurried breathing, as if this closeness made them both forget everything else around them. Outside, the rain continued to fall, but in the small room, the atmosphere seemed to grow even more intimate. Liam slowly raised his hand, gently stroking Chloe's hair, letting his fingers feel each soft strand. He gently lowered his head, placed a kiss on her forehead, and then slowly moved down to her lips. This time, the kiss was deeper, stronger, drawing them both into a world where only they existed. Chloe closed her eyes, her hands wrapping around Liam's neck, pulling him closer. Waves of emotion surged, causing all initial shyness to gradually melt away. Liam gently eased Chloe down onto the sofa, her body flowing with his every movement. The faint yellow light from the table lamp illuminated Chloe's smooth, pale skin. Liam leaned down, his lips gently tracing her neck, each kiss leaving an imprint on her skin, making Chloe tremble softly amidst the rain outside. Chloe slowly opened her eyes, looking into Liam's with a mesmerizing gaze. "Do you know?" she whispered softly, her voice like a gentle breeze. "How long I've waited for this moment." Liam paused for a moment, his eyes becoming gentler, as if to say he too had been waiting for this moment for a very long time. He said nothing, just gently placed his hand on her chest, feeling Chloe's heart beating fast along with his own. In that moment, space and time seemed to stand still. The rain outside was now just a gentle melody, accentuating the passionate reunion of the two. Liam leaned down, his lips finding hers once more. The kiss was long and intoxicating. They entwined in a dance of passion, feeling each other's breath, each other's heartbeat, while the world outside seemed to completely vanish in the room's dim light. And in the dim light of the room, every gesture between Liam and Chloe became rhythmic, harmonious, like a symphony of emotion. Their lips intertwined, their kisses growing more intense with each passing moment, an unspoken declaration of deep understanding. Liam felt Chloe's body heat, her breathing quickened, and he could no longer control himself. Chloe let out soft sounds as Liam's lips left hers, gliding down her neck, sending waves of sensation through her body. Liam moved lightly over Chloe's soft skin, his every touch awakening every sensation within her. They were lost in the desire of the moment, no longer distinguishing between time or space. There was only their hurried breathing and the merging of their emotions. Chloe gently shifted her body, writhing like flowing water, every movement seeming to ignite more longing in Liam. She raised her hand, gently stroking Liam's hair, her eyes full of invitation, both shy and brimming with desire. Liam felt her tenderness. He slowly shed the layers of clothing that hindered their closeness. As each piece of fabric fell away, the atmosphere in the room grew more intense and alluring. Chloe lay still, allowing Liam to explore every curve of her body. His hands glided along her shoulders, down to her waist, then paused at her hips. The intimacy between them grew clearer as Liam leaned down to kiss Chloe's soft skin. The warmth from her body radiated, and he could no longer hold back. They entwined, each heartbeat seeming to synchronize with the persistent rain outside, which now served only as background noise, a silent witness to their unspoken bond. Liam and Chloe were completely immersed in this moment, letting their emotions carry them away, no longer thinking about the past or the future. In the final moments, as they reached the crescendo of their emotions together, neither could stop the feeling of profound satisfaction that surged through them. Their hurried breaths faded, replaced by a quiet peace that filled the small space of the room. Liam lay down beside Chloe, his arms still wrapped around her, pulling her close, as if wanting to hold onto this moment forever. Chloe stirred gently in Liam's arms, her eyes softly closing, a happy smile on her lips. The rain outside hadn't stopped, but inside the room, there was only the quiet warmth of two people who had just found each other on a silent, rainy night. The next morning, Liam woke up, a mix of happiness and fear still swirling within him. He turned to see Chloe lying beside him, her eyes gently closed, her breathing soft. Liam felt a pang of embarrassment, but at the same time, he realized that he didn't regret anything that had happened last night. He gently stroked Chloe's hair, and she slowly opened her eyes, offering a tired but warm smile. "Good morning," Chloe whispered, her voice soft but full of emotion. Liam smiled back, but deep down, he knew that nothing would ever be the same. They had crossed a line, and now no one knew where their relationship would go. After that fateful night, Liam and Chloe seemed unable to return to normal. What had happened between them changed everything. The small house now felt both familiar and strangely distant, its space filled with mixed emotions. Liam, though he continued his daily life of studying and doing homework, his mind was constantly haunted by images of Chloe. From when she appeared in the kitchen in the morning to the subtle touches during meals, everything about Chloe made Liam feel confused and increasingly desirous. Chloe was also affected by this change. She felt that every time Liam entered a room, his gaze seemed to linger on her longer. Everyday gestures, like Chloe knocking on his door to wake him up, clearing the table, or even watching movies together, now carried another layer of meaning. The shyness mixed with longing pulled them into a vortex of unspoken emotions. One evening, after Liam returned from school, Chloe had prepared dinner as usual. The meal was still complete and comforting, but the atmosphere between them seemed stifling. They sat opposite each other, the faint yellow light from the kitchen lamp illuminating Chloe's face, making her look gentle but also weary. Liam held his chopsticks but couldn't focus on the food in front of him. His mind was cluttered with chaotic emotions. "I'm done eating," Liam suddenly said, putting down his chopsticks and standing up. He didn't know how to face Chloe after what had happened. Chloe looked up, her eyes full of understanding. She knew Liam was trying to keep his distance, but like him, she couldn't stop the emotions building up inside her. As Liam was about to walk into his room, she spoke, her voice soft but resolute. "Liam, wait." Liam stopped short at the door, his shoulders trembling slightly, not daring to turn around. Chloe's voice was full of unspoken feelings, and he knew that her next words would only make everything more complicated. "I'm sorry for making things messy, but I can't deny it anymore. I need you. Liam, I've been lonely for too long, and since Ryan left, you're the only one I have to lean on." Liam turned to look straight into Chloe's shimmering eyes. He felt a sharp pang in his heart, realizing that Chloe truly needed him, not just emotionally, but for the comfort and closeness she had lacked for so long. Liam knew that no matter how wrong this relationship was, they had both gone too far to turn back. He walked closer to Chloe, gently leaning down, his hand trembling as he took hers. They stood in silence for a moment, their eyes meeting, full of sincerity and vulnerability. Liam said nothing, but he nodded slightly, as if in reply to Chloe's words. "I can't stop thinking about you either." Chloe smiled faintly, her voice trembling with emotion. "I don't want to hurt you, but I can't suppress these feelings. We might not be right, but I only know that I just need you here, right now." That night, the quiet atmosphere of the house became stifling as Liam and Chloe sat together on the sofa. The television long turned off. They no longer cared about anything else, only each other's presence mattered. Liam wrapped his arm around Chloe's waist, pulling her closer to him. Chloe rested her head on his shoulder, her breath soft against his neck, making him feel their closeness more clearly than ever. Chloe looked up at Liam, her eyes filled with tenderness but also intense longing. She gently placed her hand on his chest, feeling the beat of Liam's heart beneath his shirt. Liam leaned down and kissed Chloe's forehead gently, then slowly pulled her into his embrace. They sat together in silence, but it wasn't an uncomfortable quiet. Instead, it was filled with emotion and connection between them. They both knew that this relationship would not be easily accepted, but they couldn't stop the desire and longing they felt for each other. In the nights that followed, Liam and Chloe continued to immerse themselves in passionate moments. Yet they also knew the future ahead was fraught with challenges they had to face. After long nights together, the bond between Liam and Chloe grew stronger, not just emotionally but physically. Every time they were together, the atmosphere in the house became suffocating, yet also filled with an undeniable craving. They couldn't stop, even though deep down they both understood this path was filled with dangers and risks. One late weekend morning, sunlight filtered through the curtains, casting a soft glow on the small living room. Chloe was already up, preparing breakfast for Liam. She wore a simple, soft white dress, captivating in its understated elegance. The aroma from the kitchen filled the house, making Liam feel a sense of warmth as he stepped out of his bedroom. Liam watched Chloe from behind, her silhouette outlined in the gentle morning light, and his heart swelled with emotion. He walked closer, unable to resist, wrapping his arms around Chloe's waist from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. Liam's warmth surprised Chloe, but she didn't pull away. Instead, Chloe gently tilted her head, smiled softly, and leaned into Liam. "You're up? I was just about to call you for breakfast," Chloe said, her voice warm, her hands still busy with the pan on the stove. Liam leaned down, gently kissing Chloe's neck, his voice husky with their closeness. "I don't want to be away from you for another second." Chloe sighed softly, but couldn't hide the faint smile on her lips. She knew that she and Liam were stepping into an increasingly deeper relationship. And despite her fears, she couldn't deny that she wanted to keep Liam by her side. After breakfast, they cleaned the kitchen together, their gestures becoming more natural, no longer marked by the initial awkwardness. Liam and Chloe were no longer just brother-in-law and sister-in-law. They had crossed that line long ago. With each passing day, they lived together like genuine lovers, sharing every small moment of their lives. That evening, a soft rain fell, the sound of drops on the roof creating a quiet intimacy in the small house. Chloe and Liam were engrossed in the passionate intensity of their forbidden relationship. Chloe leaned into Liam on the sofa, her smile a mix of regret and longing. Liam was no longer the harmless brother-in-law. Now he was the man who made her forget her loneliness, forget the husband she once loved. They didn't know that Ryan, Liam's brother, had returned home earlier than expected from his long business trip. In his mind, he was eager to surprise Chloe, the wife who had endured so much loneliness due to his work. Ryan opened the front door quietly, not wanting to wake anyone. As he stepped inside, he sensed an unusual atmosphere. The house was dark and silent, yet something felt wrong. Ryan moved towards the living room, where the dim light from a lamp near the sofa illuminated a scene he could never have believed. Chloe and Liam were intertwined on the sofa, doing something he never imagined would happen between his wife and his younger brother. In that moment, time seemed to stop in shock. Ryan stood frozen, his entire body stiff, his heart racing, every cell in his body feeling like it would explode. He couldn't breathe, couldn't think of anything but this agonizing betrayal. His breath hitched, and he let out a guttural scream. "Chloe, Liam." The cry was like a thunderclap, striking the silent room. Chloe and Liam startled, immediately pulling apart, their eyes wide with panic as they darted towards Ryan. For a terrifying moment, everything was deathly still, leaving only pure fury etched on Ryan's face. Chloe clapped a hand over her mouth, her eyes filled with fear and guilt. Liam trembled, unable to lift his head to face his brother. Both of them understood that everything had been exposed, and there was no turning back. "What the hell is going on here?" Ryan roared, his voice breaking with anger and pain. He strode closer, his eyes bloodshot, looking at Liam and Chloe as if they had betrayed him not just in body, but in soul. Chloe struggled to regain her composure, tears streaming uncontrollably. "Ryan, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to say," her voice cracking amidst her sobs. Chloe's heart felt constricted by the fear of losing the husband she once loved. But the truth couldn't be hidden, and she knew there was no way to salvage the situation. Liam, the brother Ryan had once considered his own flesh and blood, now stood with his head bowed in guilt and regret. He wanted to say something, but no words could express the torment tearing him apart. Liam knew that all explanations would be meaningless. He had crossed every boundary. and there was no way back. Ryan, unable to control his rage, advanced directly towards Liam. Everything seemed to shatter within him. You're my brother. Liam, I trusted you, and this is how you betray me? Ryan screamed, his fury erupting in every word. Liam trembled, unable to lift his head. I'm sorry, Ryan, but His sentence was cut short. Liam couldn't find the words to describe the relationship he had fallen into. Shame and guilt seemed to envelop his entire body. Chloe fell to her knees at Ryan's feet, trying to beg for forgiveness. Ryan, please, I know I was wrong. I can't justify it, but please don't leave me. Tears streamed down her face, her hands shaking as she clutched at Ryan's sleeve. But Ryan pushed her hand away, his eyes filled with hatred and disappointment. Don't touch me, Chloe, he said, his voice sharp as a knife plunging into Chloe's heart. You've destroyed everything. You've single-handedly trampled everything we had, our love, our family, our trust, everything. Chloe collapsed onto the floor, her uncontrolled sobs echoing through the room. But they couldn't reach Ryan's heart now. He had suffered a wound too deep, and nothing could soothe that pain. Ryan turned to Liam, his eyes filled with a fury Liam had never seen before. And you, Liam, I don't know what else to say. You're my brother. You betrayed me. You're not my brother anymore. I never want to see you again. From now on, you don't exist in my life. Each word from Ryan was like a hammer blow to Liam's heart. He hung his head, unable to utter a single word. The sense of loss was immense. Liam knew he had lost his brother forever. The air in the room became so stifling that no one could bear it any longer. Ryan, with eyes full of hatred, looked at both of them one last time. I'm leaving. Both of you are no longer a part of my life. I can't forgive you. Never. Ryan turned and walked out into the rainy night, leaving behind a family completely shattered. Chloe tried to run after him, but her legs buckled at the door. Only uncontrollable sobs remained. Ryan, don't leave me. But Ryan didn't turn back. He had walked out of Chloe's life forever, carrying a wounded heart and an unforgiving hatred. Liam stood silently, his feet seemingly nailed to the floor. He couldn't bring himself to run after Ryan, nor did he dare approach Chloe. He knew everything was over, not just his relationship with Chloe, but also his relationship with his brother, who had once considered him his dearest family. Everything had collapsed that night, like broken pieces that could not be put back together. Chloe lay on the floor, consumed by emptiness and despair. Liam moved closer to her, but he didn't know what to say or do. He knew that no matter how much he wanted to comfort or compensate, he couldn't bring back what was lost. In the days that followed, the small house became emptier and colder than ever. Ryan never returned, severing all contact with both Chloe and Liam. He vanished from their lives, leaving them consumed by an unceasing torment and regret. Chloe, after losing her husband, lived in solitude and anguish. She desperately tried to reach Ryan, but all her efforts were futile. All she had left were the painful memories of a shattered marriage and a forbidden relationship that had destroyed everything. Liam, unable to bear the weight of his guilt, left the house. He moved to a distant place, living a solitary life, carrying the constant burden of regret and loss. no matter how hard he tried. Liam couldn't forgive himself for betraying his brother and destroying his own family. Ultimately, the story closed with an irreparable fragmentation. Chloe and Liam had paid the price for their weakness and their illicit affair. Each went their separate way, but both carried the heavy burden of betrayal, of transgressions that could never truly be forgiven. The rain still fell, but now there was nothing that could soothe the pain that all three had to endure. Family, love, trust, everything had been annihilated in the moment Ryan walked through the door and witnessed the greatest betrayal of his life. And so, in the aftermath of a single night, everything changed. A marriage was broken, a brotherhood destroyed, and what began as quiet longing beneath one roof ended in silence far more unbearable than loneliness itself. Liam walked away, burdened with guilt that would follow him for the rest of his life. Chloe remained behind, surrounded by memories that no longer brought comfort, only regret, and Ryan vanished from their world, taking with him what little remained of the family they once were. Sometimes, the choices we make in the quietest moments echo the loudest, and once the line is crossed, there's no going back. This story isn't about villains or heroes. It's about people, flawed, yearning, and deeply human. It's about the corners of our hearts we try to hide and the price we pay when we let them speak. Thank you for joining me tonight. If this story moved you, left you thinking, or touched something in your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and remember, not all silence is empty.